Hello, everyone. This podcast is being presented on YouTube and Spotify, Apple, wherever else you listen to preserve our original vision for the show. Streaming on HBO Max soon. So we would like to welcome you all to our 10th episode. We have hit double digits.
Woo!
And claps for that. Evan, how do you feel about double digits?
Wow, we're really getting up there. We're really getting old.
Yeah, it's been
Can't
a
believe
journey.
it's been 10 whole years since we first started this podcast.
I can't believe it.
It was the ripe old day in 1974 when we first put pen to paper, put out our microphones and recorded the
Mhm.
world's first podcast, which we are. Save Entertainment is, in fact, America's first podcast. That is a Googleable fact. Look it up, it's true.
It's a good trivia question, I think, that
Yeah.
you can pull out of your back pocket if you ever, get
You're
that
ever at like
question.
a party, you can bring out like this charming factoid to tell everyone, all
Mhm.
of your friends that Save Entertainment is the world's first podcast.
Yeah, the
Well, it's going
first.
to be the hit of any social function you say that at.
Yeah, sure to turn up the intensity at that party by a lot. Speaking of turning up intensity, should we start off with the intensity from Marvel or DC that dropped this week? Because we got two big comic book properties dropped this week. What should we start with, Evan? It doesn't matter to me.
Let's flip a coin on it.
All
Heads,
right.
we do DC. Tails, we do Marvel.
Sounds good
And
to
the
me.
coin says heads. Let's start with the Justice League Snyder Cut.
The Snyder Cut, if you are living under a rock, it released on HBO Max. It is 4 hours long. It does not fill your
4
screen.
hours
It
and 2 minutes long.
in 2 minutes long. Not including credits. Maybe it is, but I don't know. I don't do that kind of math. Um, but the Snyder Cut, after long campaigns from Zack Snyder himself, fans, he got to release his original work. Some of the stuff was reshot, I imagine. Um, but if you're unfamiliar, Joss Whedon came in and finished Justice League in 2017 when Zack Snyder had to leave for personal problems. So it took a lot of campaigning for this movie to actually get released. And 4 years later, here we are. It's on a streaming service. And I watched the whole movie and I thought it was pretty good. Evan, how much of it have you seen so far?
So I've seen the first four of the chapters
Okay.
because I had to get them in around class. So this was I would watch one chapter at a time,
hmm
and
And your studies come
unfortunately,
before the Snyder Cut.
oh yes, unfortunately, I
hmm
still have to pass my classes. So I wasn't allowed. If I fail any of my classes, I can just email them and say I'm sorry. Blame Zack Snyder. Give him an F.
It's probably a common occurrence that professors get that email to them.
From what I've seen, though, I'd say give Zack Snyder a solid B minus or a
Okay.
C plus.
Okay. Yeah. I felt pretty good about the movie. I'm going to be honest. I was a little skeptical going into it because I know how serious some people take this movie, and the movie itself takes itself pretty seriously with like some of the music, and there's a lot of slow motion that gets a little repetitive. If you took like all the slow motion parts from the movie, put them together and cut them out, you could probably save a half hour of this movie. Um, that's probably not true. As I said, I don't do math, but I really liked it. I actually hadn't seen the original 2017 Justice League. Should I go back and watch it? I know that's gonna be a no.
So I had seen the original, and that's kind of why I was also skeptical
Yeah.
because I thought, that movie was bad. I never want to see that film again. I
hmm
don't. It's less that I even never want to. I mean, I do. I don't. But it's just like I've seen it now. That's enough. That's as much Zack Snyder. That's as much Joss Whedon like DCEU stuff as I ever need.
Yeah.
So do I need to see this movie again but longer? But having seen the first four of those six chapters, maybe, maybe like the last two chapters turn into something really bad, like you just start
Hmm.
watching and it becomes Triumph of the Will. But since you like it, I'm guessing nothing like that happens. So my premature what is it? Conviction? Maybe
Sure.
that's it.
Vindication? Was that what you were thinking of?
No, not vindication.
Okay. I'm not in your head, so you don't have to yell at
Whatever
me.
it is. My premature conclusion is that the film is pretty good.
Yeah.
Not great, not like the best movie I've ever made, but I will say it's it doesn't disappoint me. It's what I kind of expected from Zack Snyder.
Hmm.
It's got his very super angsty, hyper masculinized,
Yeah.
really stylized, but also really campy and like it's all these things. It's so serious, so like grounded, so gritty, so rough in the teeth that it bends over and becomes kind of campy and ridiculous. And for that, and really charming in that way, as a lot of his
Yeah.
works are. Um, like that's why, unlike a lot of people, I do really enjoy the Watchmen movie, even though he changes some stuff from the books. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but the tone of the movie perfectly captures what the novel is parodying. Like Rorschach's over serious, super dour, nihilistic monologues are portrayed very accurately with like intention, and he doesn't judge the inherent silliness of the characters and doesn't really try to cover them up. And for that reason, I think it shines well. He captures the utter strangeness that is the Jack Kirby era of DC Comics. And for that reason, I'd say it's a pretty good watch. Um, it has some awkward dialogue, a lot of like kind of awkward dialogue, and a few scenes that kind of felt really. There's some stuff where I was like, well, you could cut that out.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman learning how to make tea, that Norwegian song,
Yeah. Some of the song
the
choices are a
musical
little.
number they could have cut out. But it
um.
does. The sprawling expanse does sort of, it reckons to mind like a kind of old school like film epic almost, and it almost kind of acts as like a parody of that in a way,
Okay.
or at least like kind of a cartoonified, fantasized version of that that's been exploded to this like rich extent. And you take these flamboyant characters that are kind of like iconic pieces of pop culture and consumerism. It's almost an Andy Warhol type expression of just
Mm.
pure like kitsch through art. And I appreciated that.
Yeah. Real quick, I have to ask, what do you think about the scene when Army Hammer shows up as Green Lantern and meets Darkseid and tells him that he's gonna put him on a grill?
I thought that scene was a little it was a little poorly written,
Okay.
and some of the lighting, some of the cinematography was a little bad. I also question why Army Hammer had to be nude for that scene. I mean, I know the Green Lanterns have like a suit, so I think they could have used that, but I guess they just didn't want that. I don't know.
Yeah. Real quick, I just want to say, another person came up and I think this week it was announced and accused Army Hammer of some things. So, Army Hammer is seriously, it looks like not a good person. There was a huge like Variety article about how his family has history of this stuff, and it's a really crazy read. And people kind of talk about how it's not surprising that these things are coming out about him. So I just want to say we do like to joke, but obviously, if these things are true, which it seems they probably are, since many people have come out against him, uh, we do not endorse Army Hammer or his actions. Just, just wanted to make
We
that
were
clear.
on board for the cannibalism, though.
Yeah. So back to the Snyder cut, real quick. I kind of want to go character by character here.
Okay.
Um, I want to start with Wonder Woman because she's kind of who the movie focuses on at the very beginning. She gets this cool scene. It's a school, right?
It's like a bank, is it? It's like
Yeah. Oh, right.
a
It's
bunch of kids on a field
a
trip.
field trip. Okay. Yeah, that's my fault. So I'm gonna say it looked a little wacky when she was like, and this is like mild spoilers, I guess. I'm not gonna reveal anything crazy, but when she's like going through blocking, and she has like super speed, I thought that looked a little weird. Um,
Yeah, that also looked weird in the regular cut. A
okay,
lot of the stuff that I thought was weird in the regular cut that I was thinking, oh, maybe they're gonna fix that. They didn't, which was kind of like,
yeah,
well, that was, so I guess that was always silly.
hmm
It did, and also I will say a lot of the CGI in this movie looks like a video game. It looks like it's on a PlayStation 3,
hmm
which is kind of distracting at points.
yeah,
I will I will concur, concede.
condemn them.
I shall condemn them.
Yes,
But this that scene in this Whedon one, I remember it being kind of odd that there's this like terrorists who like do a very like relatively bloodless like takeover of this bank. And then when I saw just like the rampant violence that Whedon put in that, I was like, oh, so they just cut that out. I remember thinking that scene was just kind of weird and it was odd. It was weirdly paced and it was odd that these everyone's so terrified. It's like the opening to The Dark Knight.
hmm
And everyone's like huddled so terrified, but like no one dies. And then that movie felt really toothless to me in the way that a lot of like Avengers movies feel kind of toothless. But this film does feel like it's got menace, which
yeah.
I
I
do.
was thinking of it like the opening of The Dark Knight because it is like a bank and it's not as cool or intense
Yeah, it's not as cool or intense.
as it's the villain doing it in The Dark Knight, and this time it's the hero
So
saving
random
everyone.
guy.
Yeah. Um
We're a group of reactionary terrorists, and we're here
yeah.
to destroy the bank.
Yeah. Um but I just want to say I love when the Wonder Woman theme plays when she's doing something epic because I think that sounds so cool. Like every time that played, I was like, yeah, it's so good.
Gal
Um,
Gadot is better in this than she is in Wonder Woman 84.
I agree. I thought she had a really good role in this movie.
I think the dialogue in here, I mean, this is just a better constructed movie.
Yeah.
She doesn't feel like she's sleepwalking through this. Ben Affleck kind of does, but
Yeah, let's talk about Ben Affleck because he's the recruiter. He, goes to visit Aquaman first. He already kind of knows he has Wonder Woman, but eventually he goes to get the Flash too. Wonder Woman is the one that kind of recruits Cyborg, but Batman's kind of there too. But yeah, Ben Affleck, I mean, a lot of times I kind of forgot he was there.
yeah.
And
It's
uh,
weird because Snyder, you can definitely, from Batman versus Superman, you can definitely see that Snyder's favorite is Batman.
sure.
Like by a wide margin. Snyder likes Batman more than Superman.
hmm
And the fact that like Ben Affleck is just he just kind of looks and feels tired all the time.
Yeah,
But I mean, to an extent, it does really add, I guess, to this aged Bruce Wayne. But
sure.
it does lighten the fact that he is so aged, and that's in his portrayal. You know, he's supposed to be like wise and old, like a sage. But it does kind of slow down the movie, as it did in the Joss Whedon Justice League. Like by that point, he already felt like he was checked out. So
Yeah. And they do say, to go off your point about him being, an old Batman, he's been doing it for 20 years.
yeah.
That being said, I liked his interactions with Jeremy Irons as Alfred a lot. They have some pretty cool moments.
This is weird because this is the oldest Batman, but I think this might also be the youngest.
Yeah, youngest
Alfred.
Alfred. Hmm.
Because what? There's like he looks like he can't be more than 20 years older than,
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point.
which makes me think that so when he was like a Master Wayne, was he like what, 30 years old?
Probably,
And he
yeah.
was raising the like young,
Yeah.
which begs the question. I love that idea of like a sitcom,
Hmm.
maybe about this grizzled guy who's got to take care of this billionaire son.
That'd be pretty good.
Amazing film. He's like an ex. Isn't he like a Green Beret, Alfred Pennyworth, like in the comics or something?
I don't know, actually. That'd
He's
be
like
cool.
whatever the British version of a Green Beret is or something.
Okay. So yeah, Ben Affleck, he's not bad in the movie, I wouldn't say, but he
No,
is,
definitely not.
yeah. And there's a good
Everyone's
scene.
at least fine. The actors.
Yeah. And there's an epilogue to this movie, which is probably about a half hour long. So there's technically 7 chapters, not 6. Um, but Ben Affleck does very well in the epilogue, I would say. That's his best moments of the film, although I felt the epilogue was a little unnecessary. Um, I think that's more, I don't know if it's more like setting up what, obviously Evan can't touch on this because he hasn't seen this part yet, but I wasn't sure if it was more Zack Snyder almost having like a post-credit scene setting up more movies, or if it was just he wanted to get everything out there that he had. Um,
Yeah, I can't tell if these movies are supposed to be canon or not,
yeah.
but I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. With these movies, I think they care a lot less about that.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know if there's going to be any continuation of this universe, but obviously since the fans like it a lot, maybe Warner Brothers would be more inclined to. Aquaman, he probably does the least, like, I wouldn't say the least in this movie, but he feels like almost the least important to the mission. Like, he protects Atlantis for a little bit because there's a mother box there, and then kind of really doesn't matter the rest of the movie. I really like the scene when he comes in when they're like in the tunnel and he first appears to like unite with the Justice League. That was cool, but Jason Momoa isn't being asked to do anything crazy in this movie. He's just kind of
Yeah.
being radical Aquaman guy.
Again,
So
that's another holdover from Josh Whedon is like is Aquaman. Like, everyone does stuff, and then Aquaman's kind of like, woo,
yeah,
you
my
know.
man.
He's their group cheerleader.
Yeah, but Jason Momoa's good at that. So
Yeah. They all fill their roles well, and I
mhm.
think they're better utilized here.
Yeah,
I like that you got to see more of Cyborg. I like
yes,
that you got to see more of the Flash. I liked all of that stuff. It was an entertaining film. Like, I liked the additions. I say it's definitively better than the original Justice League.
hmm.
Like the original Justice League, I don't believe I'll ever see this movie again.
I kind of agree with that. Yeah, I don't know if I'm inclined to watch this again.
One character, though, significantly improved is I liked how they improved Steppenwolf a lot.
Yes. Hmm.
I'm glad that the villain has some level of like danger and menace to, and you know what he is and what he wants,
Yeah.
which is important for a villain to have.
Yep.
And the scene of the dark side, I liked. I thought, I liked when I thought, oh, my light just went out. I'll plug that back in. But I liked when I knew before before Darkseid was revealed and he was just kind of like a picture,
Yeah.
like he was like a mural. I liked that. I liked that kind of being,
It's pretty menacing.
yeah. But then when he showed up and he appeared, I was kind of like, oh, that's what he looks like.
Yeah.
It's that kind of Stephen King thing of once you see the monster, it's never as
Hmm.
scary as you think. And then when he comes in, he's just kind of like a CGI like lava man. Again, it's not bad. He's
No.
threatening, but it's just like now these are just two gravel voice guys,
Yeah.
gravel voice CGI guys yelling at each other like, "You have betrayed me. No, I have not betrayed you. I will make it up to you. Yes, you have. You have betrayed." It's
We will take over the world.
But he is Steppenwolf and Darkseid. They're both effectively menacing. even if their scenes are a little dry.
Yeah. I want to talk about Cyborg real quick because I think Ray Fisher's performance in this movie is the best performance.
Uh,
He's really troubled. Like we see that with we get a lot of stuff with his father, which is really good. I was just really invested in his character, and I know there's been some issues with him accusing Walter Hamada, who's the head of, I don't know if he's the head of DC or Warner Brothers, but Ray Fisher has basically said he's never going to work in a film for them again if this guy is still employed. Um, and he's taking that very seriously. So obviously, if that's true, then Ray Fisher has all the right to say those things. But I I hope they continue with Ray Fisher because I really liked him in this movie. Um, do you have anything to say about him? Because then I have a quick follow-up question about another one of the characters.
I thought that I liked seeing more of him. That
Yeah.
was some of my favorite stuff is his backstory, and you really got again in the Snyder cut. I don't think you even saw the accident itself, but I liked seeing that. Again, it's long and it's kind of overindulgent. But for a movie like this where you're building up a team, you do need to indulge.
Yes.
You need to dive into these characters.
And
So
the way the MCU did it was they pretty much gave all their
everyone their own
Avengers
movie.
solo movies. So this is basically giving them a
The
solo
Spartanless
movie.
version of the solo movie, and it's all in one movie.
Yes. So, you can complain about the length, but it's also not in the theater, it's on streaming. So just pause it, watch it in chapters. There's markers like on the thing in chapters. So, quick follow-up question. Do you think Ezra Miller was annoying?
I thought it was weird how he was portrayed. I thought it's just like it felt so tired. It
Okay.
felt like this is like from a movie from 10 years ago.
Mhm.
I didn't think it was that bad though. I thought it's kind of it was the same thing I thought back in 2017 where I was like this his kind of whole like oh he's like a nerd, who's hyper online. It felt like a really like a 90s hacker movie.
Sure,
But
yeah.
a
I
little
liked
Josh Gad in pixels, really.
Yeah. Honestly, maybe they should have cast Josh Gad as the Flash. Um, I liked the stuff with his father when he talks to him in his dad's in prison. If you know the story of the Flash, they go into it a lot on the CW show too. But his father is wrongly convicted of murdering his mother in the TV show. Spoilers for the Flash TV show that's been out forever. Reverse Flash kills his mom. And I don't know if we're getting a Flash movie. I'm pretty sure with Ezra Miller.
Yeah,
So I don't know if they'll have Reverse Flash. I would like if they had Reverse Flash. But
played by Taylor Ezra.
yeah. Um but Ezra Miller's kind of like the comedic relief, and I didn't think he was like that funny. I thought he was a little annoying at times, but I don't think he was a bad character. Like he certainly had a purpose and a good role in the movie. And
Yeah,
then
I agree.
with Superman, he's pretty much in the last hour and a half. I like what they do with him. Obviously, mild spoiler warning, they have to bring him back to life. But in the last chapter, the big battle, obviously Superman has the most epic moments. I won't spoil them in depth, but it's a very good payoff with Superman what they do with him. So they end with the big battle, and then there's an epilogue, which is a night Batman nightmare sequence. So mild spoilers again. This is where Jared Leto comes into play. We see Joe. What's his name? Joe Man. I don't know how to pronounce his last
Oh,
name.
Manganiello,
Manganello, something like that.
Manganiello something.
We see him as Deathstroke.
Right?
And we see Jesse Eisenberg return as a bald Lex Luthor. So there's some stuff in there that's kind of cool. I think it would be cooler if we knew we were going to continue this universe, but when I was watching that, I was kind of like, this might be pointless because we're probably not going to see these characters again. So I don't know. I mean, still cool nonetheless.
I looked it up. So this movie isn't canon. So,
Okay,
and Zack Snyder said, I doubt Warner Brothers will want me to work on these movies again. So maybe
gotcha.
this is just a goodbye to all of these characters. Maybe the DCU just doesn't exist anymore.
You know, I would like it if DC continued doing more stuff where it's like they have their Batman solo movie and they have their
Flash
Joker solo
solo movie.
movie.
I
Yeah.
like them all in a different universe because that's
Yes.
how I think these movies should be. I like that idea better than I like where the MCU right now is.
You don't
I
have
like
to follow one continuous storyline.
right. You can have one movie be like a noir Batman film, and
Hmm.
then you can make your sci-fi Green Lantern movie, and then you can make, so on and so forth.
Hmm.
You make this one is like more of a comedy. Shazam was more of like a teen comedy. One is maybe more of like a horror movie.
Yep.
You can change the style and the tone and what you want to do with the character in each one.
And I think they should do that because with the DCU being the mess it is, there's
I would clean it up. I would make it better.
yeah. Unless they with the Ezra Miller movie, they do some stuff where they fix all the timelines, which they very well could do. But I think the Batman is my most anticipated movie. I think it's my most anticipated movie that hasn't that's like in production, whatever, that hasn't come out yet. I think that's
Yeah,
so yeah.
it does look
Anything
pretty good.
else on DC/slash Snyder Cut?
That it does look pretty good.
Yeah.
From what I've seen of the Snyder Cut for the 2 hours and 40 minutes, I think that I have seen of it,
Hmm.
not bad. There are worse ways to spend 4 hours.
Sure.
So if you wanted to see it, if you looked at the trailer and you thought this looks good, then you won't be disappointed.
Hmm. What would be a worse way to spend 4 hours?
Um, Probably watching the Joss Whedon Justice League twice,
Okay. Maybe I'll do that one day and see which
hitting
four
yourself in the face
hours.
for 4 hours probably would be bad.
I'll watch them. I'll watch the Snyder Cut one day, then I'll watch Justice League twice the next day, and then I'll say which day was a better day. Um, and I'll let
Well,
you know
one
how
day
it
you'll
goes.
spend 4 hours and 2 minutes watching a movie. The other day you'll spend, I think, just under 2 hours watching
Mm,
one. Or
so
how
what should
long
I?
is the movie? I
I
think it's
which one? The regular Justice League?
yeah.
I think it's exactly 2 hours. I saw. So
It's yeah, exactly 2 hours.
okay,
So it is more than twice as long. This
okay.
version.
And just to wrap up, I haven't seen Aquaman. I haven't seen the first Wonder Woman actually. I haven't seen like a solid amount of DC's other movies, Batman versus Superman. And I didn't really feel like it, but I think I'm a little more inclined to now actually.
Did you see Shazam?
No, I didn't actually, but I've heard
That's
very good
one you would
things.
like, I think. You would
Okay.
definitely like that one. It's very teen 80s teen comedy.
Okay, cool.
It's silly. It does kind of feel like I'm watching like a silly 80s film.
Okay. I'll probably check it out this week because I will do that.
Sorry.
Um, so yeah, that's how we feel about Zack Snyder. He's welcome on the show anytime to discuss how much of a jerk Joss Whedon is. So second thing we want to cover is another comic book property that dropped. This one dropped today or 3 a.m. whatever. It released on Disney Plus and it's out now. So go watch it if you feel like it. But the Falcon and the Winter Soldier released its first episode today. Says it's 50 minutes long. It's more like 42 with credits. This is the second Marvel show after WandaVision, which we talked about a lot in previous episodes if you want to go watch that. But Evan, what do you think of the first episode?
I quite liked it. I thought it was
Okay.
pretty good. I think I liked this first episode less than I liked the first two episodes of WandaVision. But I like this episode as like a whole more. From what I've seen, this episode looks to be better than WandaVision is.
Okay.
It felt more ambitious. It felt, well, less ambitious, less outwardly ambitious, but more like it was trying for something truly different.
Yes.
WandaVision felt that way at first, and then that feeling quickly drained from it as the show progressed. But this does feel like even the action sequence at the beginning felt like just a regular kind of like quick breakneck action sequence, you know?
Yeah.
And the movie it's a little like a it doesn't like break really like any new ground. It's just that it feels like a solid action film from anything that isn't the MCU. And I like that. I like that it got away from that Marvel-y feeling that I've kind of started to become a little tired of. So
Yeah, I gotta say, a lot that happened in this episode I was not really expecting to happen. The Falcon, I guess, mild spoiler. Falcon and Winter Soldier don't even meet in this episode. It's all separate storytelling for both of them, building their characters. We learn a good amount about them. Um, and I also quite liked it. The quick action sequence at the beginning was awesome with Falcon. He's great, Anthony Mackie. He's very charismatic. And Sebastian Stan as well. You can see like he's troubled and all that fun stuff from being a war guy. Um,
being a war guy.
yeah, he plays what's the what's the one game I used to play all the time? The board game, Risk. Sorry.
uh,
Uh,
you're gonna say Candyland.
I also have played quite a good amount of Candyland. So we see Bucky getting some therapy and he's not really opening up. We see Sam with his family. We see him
See
turn
him
in the
taking out
shield.
alone.
What was that?
Okay, we see him taking out alone.
Yes,
See,
taking out alone.
I guess a lot of these movies you do kind of get the feeling of like jingling keys, which I'm not always a huge fan of,
Yeah.
like with a lot of Marvel films, even though they all kind of are that. But some of them just kind of feel like it. And it's like, listen, I know that I'm watching keys being jingled over my face, but you don't have to make it that loud. In this movie, this TV episode felt less like that. This felt way more like, oh, aren't you going to be excited for this to happen? You know?
Hmm.
Oh, aren't you excited to watch the next one? This doesn't feel that way, which I liked.
Yeah, and if you've seen the trailers, there's probably like they probably only showed the Falcon action sequence in this episode as something they showed in the trailers. So there's a lot more stuff to come. Obviously, think that next few episodes are going to be more action heavy, but who knows? Definitely as we get towards the end, I imagine it would be. But we haven't even been reintroduced, I guess, to like Baron Zemo yet, and Sharon Carter, because we know they're going to be in it. But
Mhm.
I I really liked how Sam was talking with my boy Don Cheadle,
Mhm.
and they were just talking about like he was kind of like, "Why'd you turn in the shield?" Because Sam turns in the shield to the Smithsonian, and then like probably a couple days later, the government does a 180 and takes the shield from him at the end of the episode. And we now have a new Captain America. We don't know if this guy's like got the super soldier serum or whatever. He probably is just a guy, I would imagine, with a shield. But I kind of really like that because it shows, there's still that divide with the government and superheroes that we saw in Civil War. Um, and I just really like the world aspect of it with like people coming back from the blip and whatever. You talking about the how he takes out a loan. Do you want
Yeah.
to cover any of that stuff? Because I know you were texting me about it.
I just thought I like the kind of little things. I like the oh yeah, he's taken out a loan. He can't get a
Yeah.
loan because of this stuff. It's like a little I don't know, awkward moments. Those I kind of enjoy. I enjoy those in every superhero movie.
Yeah.
The
We
little
got
awkward bits where it's just kind of like, huh, this would be pretty difficult in a world populated by these kinds of freaks. So
I think the only instance in any superhero movies where we really get like a lot of personality and see them just be a regular person is at least in the first one, Ant-Man with Paul Rudd, because like he's coming out of prison, stuff like that. Um, but other than that, like in these Captain America movies, obviously Sam and Bucky are both side characters. We don't really see them just be people. So it's kind of cool to see that. Like there's probably 2, 3 action sequences in this whole episode, and the rest is just them kinda hanging out, and it's pretty interesting, I gotta say.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty I thought it was all like it was just kind of them hanging out. After that first action sequence, I liked that there weren't that many others. I think make keeping it spaced out is a positive turn.
Yeah,
I remember I saw a tweet about Falcon and the Winter Soldier that said that the trailer looks like one of those fake movies that turns out to be an M&M commercial.
mhm,
And yes, it does.
yes.
And some of the moments in here do feel that way.
Mhm,
But a lot of it doesn't. A surprising amount of it doesn't. So
yeah. Um, okay,
I give it a
questions,
good rating.
a good rating.
Yeah.
A couple questions I had when I was watching this. These are deep, deep cut
Deep
questions.
philosophical questions.
Okay, first of all, when we last see Captain America as spoilers for Avengers Endgame, old man Captain America. We see he has the shield and hands it over to Sam. But as Captain America was last in battle, the shield was broken and he had half the shield. Now, I've only seen Avengers in game like 3 times, twice like as it came out, once and that was a couple months ago. So and it's a long movie, so I kind of forget. How does the shield get remade?
I don't remember either. I'm sure someone hopefully watching can like leave something in the comments about how it gets
Please
remade.
do.
I
I do. There should have been like a good like blacksmith scene, like how Iron Man was in the cave in the first Iron Man. So that's question number one. Number two, um, Sam's turning in the shield to the Smithsonian, like someone's not gonna break in and steal it.
yeah,
That's if you're putting like a weapon. First of all, kids would want that. Second of all, in a world where there's lots of supervillains, you can't just put that in a museum. So,
that's true. I was expecting like the classic, there's a gal at the museum, and then
mhm,
the villain shows up. He displays his evil powers by taking out a few guards. He
original
steals it.
Avengers, yeah. I feel like
Yeah.
that's in one of the X-Men movies too.
And it's in Batman and Robin, I think.
Okay.
The one with Arnold Schwarzenegger where I know he freezes a dinosaur and he says what kills the dinosaur in the Ice Age.
I kind of like those kind of scenes, I can't lie. They're
Oh,
like
those
when
are nice.
everyone's dialed up. Yeah.
Or a Batman, the first Batman too, in the 80s.
There's also a gala at the end of Pixels.
Oh yeah. And
The
that one
White
also
House
gets disturbed by
does.
aliens.
Yeah. So there we go. That's how we tie in Pixels to this episode. So yeah, I mean, they give the shield away at the end of the episode, so obviously they, weren't just gonna keep it there anyway. But third and final question: Sam, he jumps out of this plane like twice, and he does it all fancy and stuff like that. What if his wings stop working? Then you're gonna be doing something stylish, but just look stupid because you're gonna be falling to your death most likely. So what if your wings
Well,
don't work?
I think he's just got that is true. That would be really again, another thing I enjoy. Sorry, this that was just loudness from outside.
No worries.
Another thing I do enjoy in superhero movies, like in Spider-Man 2, when he's doing a triumphant jump off the building and then he just like falls down and he hurts his back.
Hmm.
That kind of stuff we need more of.
Yeah.
Superheroes just stuff doesn't work. What if we have a superhero just fall to their death?
Well, have you ever
It's
seen
just
Deadpool
out.
2?
I didn't see it. Oh wait, I did see it.
That's like a good 15 minutes of the movie. He recruits all these superheroes, then they spoilers, then
Yeah,
they
they
just
all
die.
die at
Yeah.
once. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. So I guess maybe we
You
already
give
got
me
that.
the script to a Marvel thing. I will do Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but in the first episode, it starts with the Falcon just jumping to his demise.
Yeah.
He pulls out his wings and they have holes in them, and
Mm-hmm.
then a sneaky Bucky is holding like a pair of safety scissors up in the
Mm-hmm.
helicopter, and he
Yeah.
laughs evilly. Episode ends. 30 seconds long. Give us give us your scripts, Marvel. We'll do that. We'll do this.
Give us your scripts. Um. So yeah, that's Falcon and Winter Soldier. Pretty much liked it. Looking forward to having a new Marvel show to watch every Friday. And I think this is going to be better than WandaVision, dare I say. Um. So yeah, little stuff that we saw. I saw today Ace Ventura 3 is in development.
Yeah.
I I saw Venom 2 was delayed and Black Widow is getting a last minute decision of whether it's going to be put in theaters or not. I think they should just put it in theaters and Disney Plus. Um but most importantly, the remake of He's All That, titled
He's all that.
She's All That, starring famed TikToker Addison Rae, has been bought for $20 million by Netflix. Evan, would you pay $20 million for this movie?
Well, first of all, it's a remake of She's All That, titled He's All That.
I'm sorry, I haven't seen that.
We have to make that clear. Um, this it looks awful, to be honest. It looks really awful. Um, it's like it's for those of you who haven't seen She's All That, it's part of a strain of, and this is a weird little like deep dive of like teen movies based on classic works of literature, belonging to She's All That being, of course, based on Pygmalion by George Bernard Shaw. There's what else? Clueless, based on Emma. There's 10 Things I Hate About You, based on Twelfth Night, I
Great
think.
movie.
Or 12 Things I Hate About You, I think, is based on Taming of the Shrew, right?
I don't know, but I like 10 Things I Hate About You.
But it is part of that grand tradition. I guess this is just reverse Pygmalion. Like it's so the woman is like Addison Ray is like, hey nerd, I'm gonna make you cool.
Is there a trailer for it?
I hope not. I
Okay.
hope this film will cease to exist.
Yeah. I just, I will never hate on someone for making their money. And maybe I'm about to say something controversial.
Mm-hmm.
But these people that are on TikTok, and I'm gonna sound like an old grumpy man, probably,
Sound like
whatever.
a geezer.
Because if I was starring in this movie instead of Addison Rae, I was offered the role but turned it down,
You
her
offered
role.
Addison Ray's part in this film.
hmm If I was offered this role, I probably would not be complaining. So I'll preface it with that. But these people get famous off social media and then they make money off things, but they just think they can do whatever they want. They make music, they do stuff like that. And some of them are talented, I guess. But it's just like,
Listen, I love it when and it happens to every YouTuber.
I
Every
know.
YouTuber, every TikToker, they do something and everyone gets mad at them, and I live for that moment. I leap for joy. And you know what? If this humble podcast takes off and it happens to us, I will have to sit back in resignation being like, I knew it would happen. It
Mhm.
always happens. And when that day comes, it'll come for Addison Ray. I know it.
When we're
There's a skeleton
stealing
in her closet.
when we're stealing jobs from people and writing slash directing Addison Rae's next movie, we'll look back on this and laugh and say, how stupid were we?
Yeah, how
Um,
foolish we were. Our best friend is Addison Ray.
yeah,
Isn't it, Addison? She's watching this. She's a big fan of the
she
show.
is watching. What else would she be doing? But
Does Jose
yeah,
Canseco still follow you?
he does actually.
Because he didn't listen to the episode.
I guess not, but maybe he did, and
Just
just
agrees, yeah.
he agreed. Yeah. Um,
Hey, if you can't laugh at yourself,
yeah. I I just, there's probably so many actors who have been out there for like 10 years being like, when am I going to get to star in the something all that remake? And then they see Addison Rae gets hired.
Something all that. It's
Yeah, whatever it's called. So yeah, I don't like getting serious on the internet, and I'm probably gonna regret saying what I just said because we'll get hired to write Addison Rae's next movie. But that's what I have to say. Um, Evan, did you watch anything interesting this week
did I watch anything interesting this week? I
besides
did.
Justice League?
Besides Justice League,
Mm-hmm.
I did. I think I mentioned this before, but I watched it again because I love it so much.
Mm-hmm.
This is the second time this month that I've watched the movie Return to Oz.
Okay.
Brilliant film. I think it's great. I think it's better than Wizard of Oz.
Does it slap?
I think it slaps. I think it smacks.
Mm-hmm.
I think it does awful, terrible things,
Mm-hmm.
but in a good way. I mean, to say that it's cool.
Okay.
Film rule.
Anything else?
No, that was really all that I watched. This has been a light watching week.
Okay. I binged the first season of Game of Thrones and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Have you seen Game of Thrones?
I have not seen Game of Thrones. No,
Do you plan on seeing it?
I will never watch Game of Thrones.
So you don't care if I spoil anything.
You can spoil it for all forever, really.
All right, spoilers, major spoilers for season 1 of Game of Thrones. Sean Bean is like the character we pretty much follow throughout the beginning of season 1, and they behead him in the penultimate episode of season 1. They behead Sean Bean, and I was genuinely shocked.
Wait, Sean Bean died in a work of fiction? Jeez.
I know,
Who would
but
have seen it?
I was just like, oh man, that's crazy. I didn't think he was gonna be in the show for long because he had a lot of people mad at him, but it was genuinely crazy when that happened. So I plan on watching Game of Thrones and being disappointed by his last season, as I kind of know how it ends already. I don't know a lot of the stuff in between though. So, but Sean Bean also in the David Diggs Snowpiercer show. I think he's the villain. I haven't seen the Chris
Uh,
Evans movie or watched the show, but if I look at reviews and people say it's decent, I might check it out.
I didn't see the Snowpiercer show. I
Mm-hmm.
liked the film quite a bit,
Okay.
directed by, of course, Bong Joon-ho,
Oh yes,
uh,
yes.
who recently won an Oscar for his work on the film. I think it was Cats the Musical,
Uh huh.
whichever movie won Best Picture of 2019.
No,
I
you
forget.
hit it on the head.
Okay, just making sure.
Mhm.
But I haven't seen the show. I hear he's very good in it though, so
Okay. Thank you very much. Do you have any letterbox reviews you want to tell us about?
I
Or
do have a couple.
I have 3, and they all have a common theme.
Okay, well then you go, then I'll go, then you go, then I go, then you go.
I'm totally gonna mess that up. Review 4-star review for our favorite movie, Zack Snyder Justice League. Let's
Mhm.
go. This is a 4-star review from Master Senequa, I believe is how you would say that.
I
I'm sorry
think
if you're watching and I messed that up. But they say, was able to watch this early with my dad since he's a film journalist for NBC. I'd say what other early viewers are saying is true, for the most part, but nobody seems to be talking about the second after credit scene, when Zach gives an emotional dialogue about how this film was inspired by the popular 2018 PC and mobile game Among Us. Did you know that?
I think you mispronounced it. It's definitely called Amogus.
Okay.
But aside from that, I think it's a very accurate representation of the film.
Thank you. I thought so too. That's why I shared.
I'm glad you did.
Hmm.
My review is for the classic film Salo, or the 120 Days of Sodom.
Okay.
This is a 4-star review given by Josh Lewis, who says, "You know what they say about fascism? It ain't great."
Do they say that? Who's they?
Fascists,
Okay.
I assume. The fascist PR people.
No one with a brain.
No one with a brain who recognizes the holy power of absolute fascism.
Yeah.
Ask my friend, who's the Nazi guy? Who's the
There's a
pro?
couple of them.
Who's that Nazi guy?
Kevin
Is
Bacon
Himmler?
in X-Men First Class.
Oh yeah, of course, the Red Skull.
Yes, the Red Skull. Is
He
that
was a
who you're
real
talking
guy.
about?
Yeah,
Okay.
he was a real guy, you know.
Was he actually?
Yeah, even
Actually,
though
I think I might have known that. Did he have a red skull?
probably not. I
I
don't
think
think
he
he
might
was
have.
a real guy.
Okay.
I don't know.
Maybe it's like based off of someone.
I remember, until very recently, I thought that Johnny Appleseed was a real guy.
Hmm.
And then I looked him up and it's like it's all a fable. Which,
Really?
like, why? They told us in school as if he was a real dude.
I don't know if I ever had any stake in believing Johnny Appleseed was real.
I just feel like, why would they lie to us about it?
They lied to us
Obviously,
about a lot of things if you look back on it.
that's, yeah, that's true. They, like, give us, like, propaganda and stuff.
Hmm.
But that's, like, a straight up, like, falsehood. Like, not even, like, a twisting of facts. That's, like,
Okay.
a falsehood that we were taught, at least in my school, that we were taught, like, hey, so Johnny Appleseed, he did the da 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 da, and it's not like it's a fantastical tale.
Hmm.
So I grew up just thinking there was a guy named Johnny Appleseed, and that's where we get the name Apple from. But no,
Yeah. I haven't read the Johnny Appleseed story in a bit. Maybe I will. I'll look it up,
I
keep it in
think
a
he
tab.
invented apples or something like that. I don't know. I don't remember it exactly, but
Speaking of Nazi things, I watched Jojo Rabbit recently for the first time. Very good. Just wanted to mention that because I think I watched that in between like the last episode and whatever. Very good
that
movie.
film have Nazis in it? I cannot remember.
Yes, a couple of
Oh
them.
right, Hitler, in fact, appears in
Take a
it.
Waititi himself.
Oh yes, yes, of course.
All right, back to our letterbox reviews. This is a 1-star review from Dawson for Justice League 2017, not Zack Snyder's
Oh,
Justice League. So
oh,
be careful what you gotta make sure you have the right Justice League nowadays. And Dawson says, "Do you think Ezra Miller remembers any of this?"
I don't think he does.
You know, I kind of like Ezra Miller, but I don't know if I like him as the Flash as much as I like him in things like Perks of Being a Wallflower.
I've never seen that film.
It's such a good movie. It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Good high school movie.
I
But
I'm very picky with high school movies. I think
okay,
there are very few good ones.
yeah, yeah. But I like I don't want Ezra Miller in like a big budget movie. I'm sure Ezra Miller wants himself in one of those, and more power to him because I think he's cool.
Well, he's
But
in another big budget franchise, right? He's in
he's
the
in the Crimes of the Harry Potter
yeah.
Fantastic Beasts. Yeah, I haven't seen those.
So he's just franchising them out.
Yeah, good for him. But I like him more in the smaller movies.
Yeah, me as well.
Okay, glad we're
So
on the same page.
my second review of the evening
Uh
comes to us from letterboxed user. I'm trying to pronounce it.
huh.
Belva.
Okay.
VELVA. Velva.
Uh huh.
1.5-star review for The Never-Ending Story. Title is misleading. This movie ended.
I was hoping once you read the title that it went somewhere like where it did, so I'm happy with the conclusion of that review.
When I was young, I never wanted to watch The Never-Ending Story
Hmm.
because I thought that it never ended. And I thought, what if I
Sure.
put it in? Is it just not? Is it going to just keep playing for the rest of my life? I was very, very young at this time. I think I was like
Hmm.
3 or 4. And I was just like thinking like, oh no, they're gonna put it on. It's gonna keep playing.
If there was a never-ending movie, would you watch it?
Probably not.
Okay. Just glad you're honest.
That'd be the last movie I ever see.
But do you need to see any more movies?
I guess, and I feel like it might be like a Library of Babel situation where like it's the longest movie ever, so then every other film ever made is contained within it.
That's deep right there. That's very wow.
If it's
That's
an
making me
if it's an
think.
infinitely long film, then an infinite amount of things must happen in it.
It's the Snyder cut 10 times.
Never ending indeed.
Uh-huh. This one might tickle everyone's fancy. This is my
Hey,
last
the
review.
fancy wants to remain untickled. Thank you very much.
Okay. This is a 3-star review. So the theme for all these were all DC movies. So this is a 3-star review for Aquaman from David Ehrlich. And David says, I've seen it all. I have seen this mad lark. I've seen Willem Dafoe ride a hammerhead shark. I've seen a sad kraken voiced by Julie Andrews. An octopus plays drums while Amber Heard looks confused. I've seen the crab guys, Aquaman's first selfie. I've seen it all. There's no more to see. SEA. So, just wanted to add some flavor.
Oh, I'm glad.
I just wanted to say, Willem Dafoe shows up in Zack Snyder's Justice League for like 5 seconds, and I was very alarmed when I saw Willem Dafoe. I had no clue he had any involvement in DC, but I was more alarmed to see that he had a long hair, and it was quite unsettling.
It like shocked me so much to see that.
Yeah.
Hey, this is another nautical film featuring Willem Dafoe after The Lighthouse.
Uh huh.
Similar in tone.
Okay.
I must say for your review, I'm glad to see that Bjork has gotten into the review writing business.
Yeah.
So I quite enjoy it.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen The Lighthouse, but I've heard people like it. I don't know. Dude, is there someone that likes everything, right?
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. There's several horrible diseases I'm sure that no one likes.
Fair. Yeah, I can't dispute that.
Yeah, I'm sure you can say. See, that's why you can wear those shirts that say like "Screw you, cancer," because you're not gonna get any cancer fans that are out of that.
How dare you wear that?
How dare you wear that shirt? I'm for the national advancement of cancer, and I say that cancer has made several steps forward in PR without people like you,
Yeah.
hateful people.
Oh no. Oh man, that's that's a good yeah. Do you have any more reviews? Do you have
I'm
any?
out of reviews.
You're out of reviews? Okay. Well, I guess we're gonna end the show on that note then. So I do not endorse anything I said throughout this episode, as always. We spent a good amount of time on the Snyder Cut and the Falcon and Winter Soldier, so I'll probably clip them out and put them on the channel because people like those things, and maybe we'll get some more viewers before the people that always view our videos. Like, subscribe, comment, do the things, watch all our videos. This is our 10th episode, so I'm, happy that we're doing this every week, and here's to 10 more because then we'll end the show.
More.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for listening wherever you're listening. Subscribe, follow, whatever,
Tell your
things
best
you do.
bud.
Tell your best bud, tell his best bud, and then he tells his best bud, who tells his cousin, and then he tells his best bud, who tells his dad, who tells his aunt, who tells his mom, who tells Zack Snyder.
That Ferris passed out at 31 Flavors last night.
Yeah. So thanks everyone for watching and or listening, and we'll see you next Friday. Goodbye.